Okay, so in this next tutorial, we're gonna test out the texture that was created previously. So first, let me go into Photoshop, and oh, I need to save this JPEG. Top surface underscore example. Okay. Yeah, I want to save it to the desktop. I got too many files going on. Come on. Alright, next, I'm gonna hide the UVs. Make sure to always hide the UVs. It's so easy to forget that. Then I'm gonna save it out. Control Alt S. Click that. Hit J for JPEG. I'm gonna save it not in my images, but in my source images. Alright. Hit OK. Hide it. From here, I need my hyper shade, which is this guy right here. And I want to make a Arnold standard surface. So just to review, it's under Arnold shader standard surface, and you could save it as favorites. So you go right click, add to favorites, because you'll be using that all the time. Which hey, where'd it go? It deleted it. Whatever, I'll do it again. AI standard surface. So under Arnold shader, AI standard surface, right click, add to favorites, and there you have it. Right. So this is Arnold's monolithic shader. It pretty much will do everything that you need. And then, well, to a certain extent. So I'm gonna grab the model and right click on top of the node list and assign material. And it's on here. And just to double check, what you can do is select the node, right click, select objects with material. There you go. And let's say you start to have too many things here. Like, I'm gonna grab all of that. I'm gonna hit this button to show everything. This button. So let's say you got too many things going on. Then you just hit this little patch of stars, it wipes out everything. But now you want to bring back that shader. You click on that shader, then you click on this, I believe. Yeah. But then if you were to, let's say, select this, and then you want to bring it up here, and let's say you have a ton of shader balls and you don't know which one, you click on this, not this. If you click that, this thing will pop up, and this is part of that, but you don't want this. You want the shader system. So you just, while this is selected, you click that, or not, whatever. So it's this one and this one. You'll be using these two a lot to pull up your shaders. All right, so this one here, I'm gonna name it cube top surface shader. So anyway, I'm gonna double click. From there, here's our material view, property editor. property editor is more or less the same thing as the attribute editor. It's the same thing, but just docked to the Hypershade. One thing to be careful is I noticed that in the classroom on the Mac computers, there are definitely times where you're trying to work on the shader, but over here it doesn't update. Or you select that and it doesn't update here when it should be. So it gets a little iffy. So with that being said, what you want to do is make sure that you have the right shader here, because sometimes it just doesn't refresh and update and you're just tweaking away, but you're working on the wrong shader in the first place and you lose like 15-20 minutes or more, or just not aware of that. So you have to be careful of that. I've seen it several times and it's just strange. Anyway, so you just double click, make sure it's that. And then I want to add that texture, right? So under color, so here's your base color. Don't mind this. Just pay attention to this. And weight, that's just the strength of the color. Color is the actual color. But we're going to add a texture map, which is the checker box. Click. And this thing will pop up. You're going to want a file. And something happens. All of this happens. And basically it added this node, file 1. It has a place 2D texture where you can repeat the texture over here. And this is your file. And its out color is getting linked to its base color of the shader, the cube top surface shader. I want to name this. This is really important when your projects get more and more complicated. So file name, file 1, I want to name it the cube top surface texture. That way I will know for sure what it is. And then to plug in the actual image under the image name, click on the folder. We'll bring this up. You go under source images. And here it is. MicroWorld cube top surface second example. Hit open. Now it's plugged in. And you have that. So that is being plugged into the base color, which is here. Now it's colored black. That doesn't mean it's black, it just means it's occupied. Alright, and you'll notice that it has a shine. You want to go into your specular. You want to bring the weight down. For now, down to 0, because we don't want anything to dictate, secondary, elements to the shader for now. You just want a flat matte color. So we did that, and it's going to be on here. Let me press 5, 6, and then Alt 5 to get rid of the shading on the model. So here it is. All right. Okay. So that's been 8 minutes. This right now as good as any time to add basic lights. We're gonna add a Arnold physical sun and sky. That's gonna be under Arnold lights physical sky. We made a dome. It just looks like it's pure black, but it's a dome, because when I select it, here's your dome. And here it is inside the attribute editor. We're going to set the exposure to say 1.5. Samples is just the shadow quality to 2. And I want to see my render view, which is this thing right here, this eyeball. I'm going to bring it over. And default is at 960 by 540, which is pretty small, but it will render quickly. So I'm gonna just zoom in and go to render, update full scene, or shortcut is Control U. Why ain't it rendering? Oh, it needs to update. Alright, so that took 1 second on my end. 960 by 540, pretty small. And I want to turn it around a bit. Hit render again. Right now IPR is turned on, so it looks like it could work. I mean, it's kind of looks like it doesn't look that alive of a surface. Maybe I should put more grass in there, but it's kind of interesting. So that's what you can do. Maybe I want to add more grass now. I don't know. Anyway, so we confirmed that we have it here. All right, next. Okay, so before I move on, I wanted to share something where, so okay, this works. I want to go back and select the cube top surface shader, and I want to show about this, the place 2D texture, where this thing is linked to the image file. Okay, so what this thing will do for you is where you can repeat the texture. So let's say you put 2 and 2, so you repeated it twice, but you see the black line because of this being repeated. But you can see how useful it is in the sense that you can have more surface area, and even now the proportions are better than before. It gives the illusion of more of a larger surface area because of the texture being doubled. But you just have to fix this out. So I just want to share with that. But you also can see that the texture is semi-repeating as well, which I can show a text, a special shader tool that will help that out a lot. So I want to fix this. So I want to go back in and quickly fix this up. All right. And let me grab the original, which was it this one? Oh god. Whatever, I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna make a copy of it. I'm gonna drag it all the way to the top. Right here. And I'm just gonna place it here. And make a copy. I'm gonna rotate it, fill out the blank areas. Oh god, I see the texture already. That needs to be worked on. Yeah, maybe like that. Okay. I can make another copy. I'm gonna put it here. And something like that. Hit enter. I don't want these patches though. These patches. So hit B for brush, go into my mask area, and then take that away, take that away. Make another copy of it, drag it down. Something like that. This time I want to kill the layer mask. Put it here. Then add another layer mask just to modify it from here. Make sure I'm in black. Start tapering away. Go into the mask, hit B, start taking away this area that's causing a seam. Then what else you could do is, with that selected, I can go hit L for lasso, and then I wonder if this will work. If I grab a chunk, hit C, and then Control Shift V. Oh no, that's not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is this thing, I'm gonna make a copy. I'm gonna hide the original, or I'm gonna lock the original. I'm gonna grab the copy of it. And I'm just gonna flatten just the copy. Okay, well, not like that, but Control Shift E. Nope. Control Alt E. All right, fine. Control Alt E. That made a copy, a flattened copy of this layer, which is fine. Whatever. So that was Control Alt E. What I want to do is instead of grabbing small little patches, I just flattened it. Now I'm going to use my lasso, and I'm going to grab this area right here. Control C, Control Shift V, and paste on top of it. So I'm going to grab this now, and I'm going to dump it here. So again, what I did was this guy right here, this is a copy of this. I wanted an extra copy. And then I was tinkering around, and I figured out you could just make a flattened copy of it, which is here. So this one, let me just get rid of it. And this is the flattened copy that I was looking for. So that was Control Alt E. So this one, and then this one. This one is the extra copy I made to fill in the gap. You could kind of see the seam line a bit. Just gonna nitpick a bit and texture it in. Okay. And then next one, this thing, same thing here. I want to grab another patch, maybe something like this area. Control C, Control Shift V, paste on top, grab it, just dump it here. Then add a layer mask, hit B as in Bob, start feathering the sides. View. Then go back to my copy, hit L for lasso. Maybe I'll lasso this area. Hit C, Control Shift V, paste into place, and just maybe go over here. And then go back to this one, hit L. And what else? What can I just grab from? Maybe here. Control C, Control Shift V, paste it. I want to paste it on top and drag it here. Then grab the next, grab it and make a copy of it and just drag it here. Then rotate it, something like that. Maybe find this one again, make a copy of it. Just dump it here. Control T, rotate it. Just even scale. No, I don't want to scale. It's going to change everything. Here. And maybe one more. There. Alright. Forgot this thing down here too. We'll make a copy of that one. And I'm going to dump it here. So now everything's filled out. Alright, so let me just save it. Thought I saved this. Control Shift save. Alright. Then I'm gonna save it as a JPEG. And this is a good example of a problem. So save into source images. The same one, MicroWorld. Second example, hit enter. Hit yes to replace. I'll hit OK. Okay, so now this is what I also want to share. This thing is it's saying you will definitely encounter this where let's say you're rendering, doing test renders in Maya and Arnold, and then you may come back into Photoshop to make adjustments, and when you try to save it as a JPEG, save over it, this will pop up. You cannot save. It's not anything with Photoshop, but it has to do with Arnold and Maya. So you can just hit OK, but you have to go back into Arnold and Maya. And what you have to do is, let me first turn off the IPR. You have to do is go to Arnold, Flush Cache, Textures. Each time you want to save over a JPEG image to update in Arnold, you have to to update in Photoshop as well as Arnold, because you have to plug it back into Arnold again. You have to flush the cache textures. So that's Arnold, flush cache, textures. The reason why is that every time Arnold renders a texture image, it's going to do this. It's going to generate something called TX. All these things. It hard to explain, but it does this every time it renders out your texture image. And this thing, I think it's this thing that blocks you from saving it, overwriting a previous image. But you don't want to delete this either. Arnold will pull this up in memory to do its renders. There's a whole bunch of technical stuff to it, but that's the reason why. So when you can't save your images in Photoshop, go to Arnold, Flush Cache, Textures. Super, super, super important, because it will frustrate you a lot. Alright, so back in here, got my cube top, the image. I'm going to reload it. Wait, no, I need to save it first. Go back in here, File, Save As. No, save a copy. Pick J for JPEG. Under the source images. Second example, hit enter. Do you want to replace it? Yes. Okay. And it saved it. Now to go back into Maya. And the second example. Where's the refresh button? Where's my refresh? Huh. There should be a refresh button. Where is it? Here. It's under the attribute editors. Some things just are not here. It's annoying. You gotta go into the attribute editor, press reload. It reloads. Now now it's gonna do this. But now you can see that it's tiling. But you can see the repeating textures too. So you know, that's not the greatest. So I'm gonna share what do you call, a special texture node that's super helpful. It'll definitely help out in future projects and stuff like that. So that's, hold on one second. Okay, so the last part I wanted to show was how, alright, so where you could see that it starts to tile a bit, like here and here and here and here. You can't really pinpoint it, but you could feel that it's tiling someplace somewhere. You can even see the edge over here too. That's horrible. So there's this fix. It's called let me delete that. So let me save a snapshot, which is over here for Arnold render view. And in case if you don't know, it's right here again. Alright, so I save a snapshot, and I'm going to bring over the hyper shade again. So this one is, you really want to pay attention as well, because it'll be really useful for other projects, even in production and whatnot. So it's called AI Triplanar. And the way you can quickly pull it up instead of digging through all this stuff is if you were to hit the tab button, as in TAB, tab, down inside of here. Why? Oh, there, tab. It pops this open. Now you type out Triplanar, AI Triplanar. That's a Arnold specialty, Arnold node shader, whatever. It pops it open. AI Triplanar 1. And what this will do, it does some really cool stuff to make the pattern not so obvious. I've never seen it before. It's super neat. At least not within 5 years or whatever. So what you do is you grab this guy, and you have your texture image right here, and instead of its color plugging into the base color of my shader, I'm gonna additionally grab it from here. Just grab it from here. I'm gonna plug it into the Triplanar's input, not the blend, but purely into its inputs. So this is now going from here to here, and the Triplanar, its out color, which I left click and drag and grab, I'm going to dump it into the base color of the cube top surface shader, and it disconnected this from here to here, and now it reconnected to here. So that there's another example of the node based system that Maya always had. Alright, so I did that. So what does that do? Well, here's original, and now I did that. So before, after, don't mind this. Before, after, but you still see the pattern, so, and it's only slightly different. So what's the big deal, right? So if I go back here to the Triplanar and using the property editor, you want to enable something called enable cell. So before, after, hit save a snapshot, enable cell, and then I'm gonna rotate this. So I did that. Rotate it again and did that. Now it's rotating the scene from before, after. Then under the transform, the scaling of the pattern texture, I want to put it to say 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, so it repeats it, but 1.5 times. So from here to here to here. You can hit save. And then there's this other thing called a blend, where you can crank up the blend. Well, that didn't do anything. It's probably this blend. Yeah, there you go. It does something. It blurs certain areas and just blends it out. And as you can see, the seam lines that was here before, this seam line is gone. And I get more texture repetition too. See? It had the kind of feel the texture being repeated here. Now it's gone and it's rotated. Like that. So now it just breaks up the surface even more. So that's really useful. So just to review, that's the AI Triplanar right here. The way you pull it up is you hit tab, you type in AI Triplanar, you click it, and it'll make it. Turn off the IPR. Then you make it, and you get your texture, its out color into the triplanar's input, and triplanar's out color into the base color of your shader. And then from there, you go into its editor and you turn on cell, enable cell, and you start rotating it. You could kind of blend it some more, and then you could increase the scale to build that. So that's the AI triplanar. Very useful, especially to repeat textures and whatnot. Alright, that's about it for that one.